everyone, welcome to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Spruce, and today we're doing another Women of Horror Spotlight. Today I have with us, she's the creator of a film festival that is going to be on October 5th in Wakefield, Virginia, and it's called the Magic of Horror Film Festival, which is also sponsored by the Horror Realm. I have with us Lowry Foley. Lowry, welcome to the Horror Realm.
Thank you, Travis. It's great to be here. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. By the way, I've been working with Shiva Rodriguez for probably the last year. My channel's brand new, but she reached out to me, and I've been interviewing a lot of the alumni of the Magic of Horror. So, some great interviews, some great projects. But for everyone who doesn't know, Larry, tell them a little bit about the Magic of Horror Film Festival.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Shiva. Shiva and I started the Magic of Horror Film Festival back in 2016. She and I actually met when she was directing a film that I auditioned for, a horror film, and we got to be really good friends. And over time, we started looking at festivals, looking at all the film festivals that are out there, and we wanted to do something a little bit different. We wanted a horror festival where all of the entries get something more than just, okay, maybe you'll get screened, maybe you won't. So we started as a screenwriting festival, and then we started adding in shorts, but we were still virtual. And then ultimately we were like, well, now we need to be able to screen these films because now we're getting all these great films in here. And our whole thing with it has always been to bring as much value to the filmmakers as possible. We may not get like the Cannes size huge audiences, but what we do give for our filmmakers, whether they're accepted into the fest or not, they get detailed feedback from the judges. They don't just get your film got in, your film didn't get in. So they get feedback. And the films that are selected, once you are selected and screen with us, whether it's a screenplay or a piece of artwork or a film, we're going to be behind you for the rest of that film, that work's existence. We want to help you. That's why you mentioned you've been doing all these interviews with a lot of the alumni. Anytime we run into some kind of thing where we can help a film that was in our fest get more publicity, get more awareness, when they release, we try to do as much as we can to promote them, because what we wanted this festival to be was something for not us, but for the filmmakers.
And a lot of film festivals do not do that. I did a video on how some of these film festivals. There's so many of them now, but a lot of them they just want your money and that's it. And I've interviewed so many of your alumni. Even from years ago. Past film festivals that were years ago, and a lot of their work, just by being on my show, has blown up. They've gotten more views, and that's something amazing that I wish other film festivals would learn from.
I wish so too, because I think that's where it all needs to start. We're in this whole new era where streaming is the thing, and the big budget studio films, yeah, they're still out there, they're still being made, but there's a big market for independent content. But I think what needs to happen is more people need to get together and promote indie content, promote these filmmakers, and help everybody and help each other out, because there's so much good content out there and so much that's worth showing and worth seeing. And that's where we want to try to help do our small part to make that happen.
That's one of the things I've tried to do with my channel as well. It's shine that spotlight because I'm a huge indie horror fan, always been one.
Me too.
Yeah, and they don't get their just due. But I'm going to say something, Larry, that's kind of controversial. I'm brand new into this. I'm on outside. I'm not a filmmaker, but I'm on outside as someone who's an audience and a fan of indie horror. I've heard the term since I've been doing my show, which has been a little bit over a year, is that indie horror, needs to stick together. Indie horror needs to stick together. But I don't see a lot of that. I really don't. I see a lot of indie horror filmmakers. Okay, I'm only going to support my shit, or I'm going to support people who I'm friends with shit. But as far as anyone else, I mean, Larry, I should at least have 50,000 subscribers by now. I mean, with all the indie horror creators.
I don't understand it either. I mean, and I'm glad you're bringing that up because and people do talk about it. There's Facebook pages that are all they are about is trying to connect people to do indie horror, indie film, even just not in the horror realm, but just indie film in general. And there's so much backstabbing, backbiting, people posting scams, people wanting to out people as scammers. It's like, wait a minute, whoever started this obviously thought they were going to put something together to create a community. So what are you fuckers doing not being a part of a community? If you're going to come into here, then don't just share your own shit, share everybody else's. Look at other people's work. See what connections you can make because we can all talk about it. You can do your part, which you're obviously doing, Travis. We can do our part. But until everybody else gets on a page and says, hey, let's not be selfish for half a second and let's see if we can help other people, because the more we help other people, I think the more help we'll get ourselves. That's just kind of how I look at it. When we host this festival, when people come in, I'm like, I'm here to hit play on the films and to get the audience in their seats and to introduce the next round. But this festival is not about me. I go sit in a back corner. When I get the filmmakers up on the stage, I'll throw questions out there to try to get them talking about their films. But don't make it about me. That's not what it's about. Yeah. It is about these filmmakers. And I really just want to see everybody have a good time and get their films out there and get shown. Because that's what giving it back is all about.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. Now, what can guests expect when they come to the film festival?
Really good films. Lots of really good shorts. We have an amazing feature, artwork, trailers for films that have not been completed yet. They're just at their proof of concept trailer stage. Film art, film posters, screenwriters. I know we have at least one, maybe more than one screenwriter who plans to come in and talk about their script. What will happen is there'll be a block of films followed by talkbacks with any of the filmmakers who have made it to the fest, where the audience can ask questions of the filmmakers, and the filmmakers can share their experiences creating the film. There's often stories about things that went on during the filming, all the little the blooper reels of sorts that we don't get to share the blooper reels, but they get to tell the experiences they had, and people get to ask questions. Then there's time for meet and greet in between. We've got a couple of vendors that are going to be there with some cool artwork and things and jewelry and things for sale, and lots of time to meet and mingle and just hang out and talk to other filmmakers and people who love horror films.
And that's so important. I've only been to one film festival so far, horror film festival, and just getting to network with other filmmakers is so important. It is so important because, at the end of the day, we're all on that indie level, and like you got to have that team. You got to have those people, on your team cheering for you.
Absolutely. If you don't, it take the mentioning team. It takes a team to create a film. And when I got into all of this, like I said, I met Shiva on a film shoot. We also have a film company and we do some filming ourselves. We never put any of our work in the festival. We are not competing in the festival, but we are filmmakers. And one of the films that we shot last year called Trail of Doom. What was so fun about this whole film, our cast primarily was comprised of people who were all also the crew, and the script was very loosely written. The rest of it was kind of ad-libbed, and we just played. It was one of those things, we were supposed to be shooting something else that fell through, so we all got together and we just played. And we had the most fun you could possibly imagine being a team. And we all got to know each other through things like film festivals, being in films, in each other's films, working on films that one or the other of us was working on. We'd meet somebody and it's like, oh, hey, cool. You want to come work on this project with us? So that's where all the networking comes in. You meet these people, these cool people who love doing the same things that you do. And then you go out and you do things and you create and you get a larger army. So it will eventually be like this army of darkness. I'm sorry.
Yes, exactly.
I just totally had like this army of darkness moment going on in my head. I had to say it.
But that's the way you have to do it. I mean, especially in indies, you have to build those connections, and those people are going to recommend stuff for you, or like you may need something. You might need lighting or something, or somebody who something's better is definitely important.
So we hope that everybody who comes in shares contact, and it's not even just the filmmakers meeting the other filmmakers. When we have regular community audience that comes in to watch these films, I hope that they start talking to the filmmakers, because maybe they have an old diner that they own that's been in their family forever that's a perfect location, and now they've met these filmmakers. And they might say, "Hey, you want to come film in our old diner or in the backfield of our property?" Or all of these things are like connections. Or maybe they work for a big company, and that company might have a product that they want to get put on the screen, and they can do product placement, and they might want to finance. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just people talking to people and being a community. And that's something that I love about the horror community. We tend, or at least the people I associate with the most within the community, we tend to keep our stabbing and viciousness on the screen, because we are all wanting to be a community. We're wanting to, for the most part, help each other. And I think there needs to be more of that.
It really does. It really does. Because I mean, to me, that's a small percentage, but it should be the majority. It really should be the majority. Should be the majority. Now, so what are some awards that we're going to expect to see at the film festival?
Well, we have really, really cool awards. I don't have any of the trophies with me right this second. I thought I did. I was spinning around and I'm like, nope, that's not a Magic of Horror trophy behind me. We have this little skeleton dude that is the trophy.
Oh.
And then we have another really cool kind of deflated warped skeleton trophy that is for the worst, show us your worst film, which is one of our categories. And that one's a lot of fun. It's kind of a milky trophy. So we have really cool trophies. We give out trophies for best short film, best Virginia film, because we are in Virginia. So we do have a category for Virginia filmmaker. We also do best screenplay. We have best director, best actor, awards in lots of different categories. Best horror art, best trailer, best poster, and subcategories as well, that all at the end of the festival. And the most popular one is the Audience Choice Award. So nice. Throughout the day, anybody who comes in gets handed a ballot. Now, I know the problem with Audience Choice Awards that people always have is they tend to be a popularity contest, because it's like, oh, well, I'm going to get all my friends to come in and fill out the ballot and vote for my film. Well, we've done our best to mitigate that a little bit, because you have to pick 3 films. Don't rank them 1, 2, 3. Pick your top 3 films with just a check mark. And each of those 3 are going to get a point. So it kind of evens it out. So if all of your actors vote for and your crew come in and vote for your film, well, they're also going to have to give an equal vote for 2 other films. So we're sort of hoping that kind of evens out the Audience Choice Award a little bit. So it's not just a popularity contest. And it seems to sort of be working because I've noticed that a lot of the films that are getting our Audience Choice Award are films that audiences really, really did love. So there is that as well. I think it's just something we try to do a little bit differently.
Now, one of the nominees or selections, I actually have him on my show, good friend Christopher Outridge, and he has Teddy Cuddles.
Uh-huh.
Yes, so I'm glad to see, because I got to see the screener of that, and it's a fun film.
It is. It is a very fun film. I have not yet actually watched every single one of our selections yet. And I'm bringing this up because you're looking at me very surprised. Well, you're the festival organizer. Mm-hmm. I am a festival organizer. Shiva is a festival organizer. But we are not the judges. We have an outside panel of judges that do our judging for us. And there was a reason we chose to do that as well. We talk about a lot of these festivals, they become what we started calling nepotism fests, where the festival owners, the festival founders, their best friends and all of their friends are the ones whose films get selected, get 100%. Screened, and get the awards. 100%. So you know what? We are bringing in a diverse array of judges, and not just other filmmakers. We have some of the judges are active in the film industry, but some of our judges are film fans. They are your average audience who loves to watch horror films, and so they get to judge, and then we get the scores, and that's how we choose. We use the judges' scoring to determine who is accepted into the fest. And then I'm about 75% through watching all of the selections, and I ultimately end up watching all of the films, even the ones that didn't get selected, just because I like watching film. But I think it's really important that especially potential filmmakers who want to submit to us know that we're not just picking our friends. I do know a lot of the filmmakers whose films are in the some of them I know primarily because they've had films in the festival in prior years. But it's not like I'm saying, oh, well, so-and-so has had their film in our festival the last 2 years, so we are going to have to accept their film this year. That's not how it works. It is you submit your films, and it's in the hands of those judges, and those judges will tell you what they liked, what they didn't like, why they scored your film a certain way, so that you're getting the benefit as a filmmaker of a wide audience response to your film.
See, I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. And the reason why is, like, I think the judges should be horror film fans. Because they're the ones who are watching the films. They're the ones who, I feel like they're the real critics, because
they're the target audience.
Yeah, because filmmakers, I feel like when it comes to indie filmmakers, horror filmmakers, like you kind of have a bias when it comes to certain films, so you don't want to say something super bad, and you're like, okay, well, this is more artsy, this is what I want. But, like, is that really what the real horror audience likes?
Exactly. And I think everybody has their own favorite type of horror film too, whether you're into horror comedy, grindhouse, slasher, psychological. And by having a judging panel, we are able to get different tastes and different likes and dislikes represented, so that maybe a film that one judge scored a 10, another judge scored it a 7. So then we look at, okay, well, where did it score on the categories, and what were their comments as we start doing the final selections and putting the selections together at the very end. So it's you get different opinions, and they're the opinions of the people who matter the most, the audience.
I agree. Now, Lyra, I got a. This is a personal opinion. Okay.
Okay.
This is my opinion. Why do you think so many indie horror filmmakers don't care about where their laurels come from?
Honestly, and we've actually on the Magic of Horror, we've been doing some festival tips. And one of they're just short videos for people who are looking to put their films in festivals, and you can find them on the Magic of Horror page. One of the things we covered was the idea of your film poster. And so many people just want to cover their poster with so many laurels. You honestly can't even, you look at it and it's like, okay, there's a ton of laurels on here, but what the heck is the film? Because it's just
Yeah.
got too many laurels on it. And I think they don't care because they think that it's like this big prestige thing to say that it got 50 laurels. And we've had filmmakers who submit their work and they're like, oh, we're submitting it to you. It's almost like they're submitting, they want it to be that we should be fortunate that they decided to submit to us because it's already got 100 laurels. And I look at this thing and I'm like, you got 100 laurels and they're all from these, we call them laurel factories when we talk about
Laurel Farms, yeah.
Laurel
Factories, farms, yeah.
factory
Factories,
farms,
yeah.
where essentially you pay your $50 and they're going to give you a laurel no matter what. But it's like, okay, so it's covered in laurels. We have no idea what your poster's so covered in laurels. We can't even read the title of your film. And we've never heard of half of these festivals. They're not even a festival. They're just
a lot of them
Joe
come from like
Blow's Internet Fest.
a
If
lot
that's
of
what
them
you
come
want to
from
do,
yeah.
and if
But I
that's what
see
you want to do, you know, you can honestly buy you can get the software. We live in an AI generation. I bet you could ask GTP to create, or Copilot, create me 50 different laurels for my film, and it would probably spit them out there. So I really don't. I think there was a time when laurels mattered,
Mhm.
and now I think they do still matter selectively. But I think the bigger reason why film festivals need to stay relevant is not about the laurels, but it's about making the connections. And again, that goes back to why we want it to be about the filmmakers never be making connections. Because if you
Mhm.
just want laurels, go ask Copilot to create you 50 different
Oh,
laurels.
you can
You'll
get
save
it.
a
Listen,
lot of money if you do it that way.
I mean, I've seen some crazy ass fucking laurels. I mean, I've seen some ones from like, and listen, I've spent a significant amount of time and throughout Africa, right? And I've seen like ones from the horror festival in Uganda. I'm like, Uganda? I've lived in Uganda. Uganda does not have a horror film festival, or South Africa or somewhere. And I'm like you got horror. I mean, you got these awards from like third world countries
That don't even have a festival.
that don't even have horror festival. Like, and you think that's like something to brag about? I'm like, whoa.
And it may be, I mean, I think too, and that's why there's been a lot of problems. A lot of people are getting leery about submitting their film to film festivals because so many of these festivals that you see popping up, even on legit sites like Film Freeway, they are, you send in your money and you never hear from them again. Or I've found some that I've been like, okay, well, that sounds like a really interesting fest. There was one that was within an hour of us. And I was like, we were so excited because there really weren't many horror festivals in Virginia. And I'm like, this is not but like an hour away. I want to go find out more about this fest. So I go, and they're talking about their monthly screenings or annual screenings at some pub. And so I go, that's on their website. So I go to the pub that it's supposed to be screening at. There's nothing about it there. Did some more research. They had no idea what I was talking about. So this festival was claiming to have screenings at some pub that had never even heard of them. And quite honestly, I don't even know if the people themselves were actually from Virginia or where they were from, because quite honestly, they could have just picked a random state and a random pub somewhere in that state and thrown it out there. We do that in our festival tips too, talking about doing your due diligence on these festivals, because festivals are getting such a bad name because of shit like that. That's the stuff that's getting festivals that really do want to see the filmmakers succeed and see the filmmakers get something out of this. we get a bad name because of those assholes over there doing that crap. And I don't know. I mean, there's no way to stop it, obviously, but
No.
it is what it is. And just do your due diligence and make sure that whatever festival you're submitting your film to is a legitimate festival. It exists, and it's not being screened on using an iPhone on a rock in Uganda.
Now, I literally saw South Africa recently. I was like, South Africa, stop! Like, who would even submit to that? Like, I was like, oh my goodness, how much does that cost? $5 or something? Like, but here's the other thing too. If I was a filmmaker, I would want a fucking trophy. I would not want some piece of certificate look like somebody just made up on Photoshop and just sent it to me. I would want a fucking trophy.
This is why we do trophies. This is exactly why we do trophies, because it's something that people can take home with them. And we do get a lot of films from out of the country, and we, on our dime, will ship them. We've shipped them to Romania. We've shipped them to Portugal. We've shipped them all over the country, even to the Ukraine. We have a Ukrainian filmmaker who's had a film in our festival 2 years in a row. He's had a film in our festival. And he actually got out of the Ukraine, fortunately. But we were trying to figure out, because we knew he wasn't going to be able to make it to the festival, obviously, last year. And we knew his film had won something again. It's like, we need to check in on him and on Sergei and see where he is and how the heck are we going to get his trophy to him in the Ukraine, because we care about getting people their trophies, even if it means shipping them overseas in the middle of a war.
And by the way, she is not fibbing at all, because I interviewed some of the alumni, and they were definitely from the UK, Germany, Australia, all kind of places. I was interviewing alumni from all across the world.
We'll have to make sure we connect you with Sergei. He's our Ukrainian filmmaker. He's awesome. I haven't connected you to Sergei yet. Awesome. Catch me later, and I'll get you hooked up with him. He's really cool.
And by the way, there is going to be a Horror Realm Award. I understand.
Yes, there is. Horror Realm is sponsoring Best Film.
Yes,
you are sponsoring Best Film, so that will be the Horror Realm Trophy. And Travis, I really hope that since you're going to be at the festival, you will be up on stage with me throughout the award ceremony and helping me hand these out to all the filmmakers.
Oh my goodness, Larry, I would absolutely love that.
I would more than welcome it, because I really want to make sure that you get to meet everybody while you're there, so that all of these filmmakers get to take advantage of getting interviewed, and talking to you, and you help them build their films, and they can help you build your channel. Because here we go, back to where it all started again.
That's how it works, right?
Exactly.
Now, one last question, Larry. Okay. I'm so fucking excited for this film festival. Where in hell is so for people who don't know, where in the hell is Wakefield?
Okay, there is a little history behind this. We used to be in a theater in Richmond, Virginia, until that theater went under new ownership. New ownership forgot to tell the old ownership forgot to tell the new ownership that we were on the calendar. And about less than a month before the festival, I did my call in and say, hey, we've got everything organized. I just wanted to get you all the packets so we can get ticket sales started. And they were like, oh, nobody told you got pulled from the calendar. So I had to find somewhere. Now the Wakefield, it's the Wakefield 4-H and Conference Center. It is in essentially kind of the middle of nowhere, but it's also in between Petersburg and Norfolk. So it's an in the middle town. It does feel like it's in the middle of nowhere. It has a kind of cabin in the woods vibe. I still serve on the board of directors there for the 4-H portion of the center, and they're also a conference center with a venue, with an auditorium, with rooms on site. So there are hotel rooms available on site. They do weddings, they do all kinds of things there, but they are kind of in the middle of nowhere in Wakefield, Virginia. But the reason I was like, you know what? First off, it's perfect because they had the dates available and we were able to get in on no notice. But then after we got down there, I was like, you know what? This is so perfect because this is almost like a for anyone who wants to stay, you're going to get your sort of cabin in the woods vibe while you're watching horror films. So it's really, there's a lake, you can walk out into the woods, there's all kinds of really cool, creepy places you can go poke around in while you're on the venue, but you can also stay on the beaten track, walk straight up to your cabins, and your cabins aren't really cabins, they are hotel rooms, but they're in cabiny looking blocks. So there's clusters of hotel rooms. You've got a microwave, you've got a television, you've got internet access. So you're not really in the middle of nowhere, but it still kind of has that middle of nowhere vibe to it that sort of fits, especially when you're first driving up to it. If you've never been down there, the last couple of roads to get to it, you feel like, oh my God, I'm driving into the middle of the woods. What the fuck is going on? What's going to come out and get it? And in fact, last year I had 2 volunteers and they started leaving, and I noticed they'd gotten lost on the way down, so I gave them better directions. And I was following behind them, and I saw them turn, and I went, where the fuck are they going? Because that is not where I told them to go. So I quickly sped up, got behind them, started following them. They didn't realize I was trying to get them to stop. I couldn't get on my cell phone to call them. They ended up continuing into like a dirt road that turned into a gravel track. I finally got them on the phone. I'm like, you guys, and they're like, oh, but the GPS says we're only 3 miles from the Virginia, or a mile from the Virginia Diner, just to keep going. And I'm like, this road is not going to keep going. And then all of a sudden the road bottoms out. I ended up getting them turned around, and we were hoping to do it this year, but we didn't get it done. We actually have come up with a script based on this. Just the whole
I was about to say, it's a good movie.
Horror film festival. But it was
that's good.
It's just, you do feel like you're going into the middle of nowhere. And I think it's got this kind of creative vibe about it because of that. So I recommend the people who are coming, festivals on Saturday, come in on Friday night, or come in on Friday and stay over Saturday night. Poke around, bring your camera. You never know what you might want to shoot while you're there. If you're a filmmaker, there's some really cool stuff.
Well, I'm definitely going to be staying there. I'm probably get there Saturday morning, but I'm going to stay overnight there and poke around.
Around. It's really cool, and at night it can be a little creepy. I have spent lots of nights there. It's also a horse show facility, and I do ride and show horses. And I have stayed in my horse trailer overnight on the grounds, and that is really kind of creepy. Rather than going up to the rooms, staying in a trailer in the creepiness. And you don't know what's going on out there, but it's safe. It is very safe, but it has a very creepy vibe, and it's a lot of fun.
And Valerie, I just wanted to tell you something too. I have so many film festivals asking me to come on my show, or for me to sponsor them or promote them. And I'm very selective on who I come on because I do my research. So if you ever seen a film festival ever come on my show, I've done extensive research to make sure that they are legit and that the Magic Horror is as legit as they come. And once again, they're not there just to take your fucking money and then we'll never see you again until you give some more money. No, they continue promoting your work even years later.
That's what it's all about. That's what we want to be. That's what we're trying to be. So thank you so much for having me on here and for noticing that, because that's all the things I need is when filmmakers come back to us and say, hey, thank you so much for everything you've done to get us on this or whatever. When filmmakers come back to us later on and remember us, that's all the things I need. It's not about the money. In fact, I think there have been years when we've lost money on this festival, but that's not what it's. We're not here to collect your money. We're here to be a part of a community of filmmakers.
I haven't had one filmmaker that I interviewed yet said, "Oh God, that was a fucking scam, Travis." Like, oh my goodness, that was fucking awful. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
Good to know.
Yes. So keep up the good work. Now, Larry, where can everyone find the Magic of Horror Film Festival on social media and online?
You can go to our webpage, which is www.magicofhorror.com. And when you're on the page, you will see a link to get tickets. You can get tickets directly from the webpage.
Awesome. Listen, October 5th, if you're in the Richmond, Wakefield, Hampton, Norfolk, Petersburg area, I know Virginia pretty well. I live in Maryland, so I'm right close by.
All that whole little area.
Yeah, it's the DMV. Yes. Please get out there and check out this amazing film festival. And you can also say, I'll be there as well, so you can say hi too.
Can't wait to meet you in person.
Larry, I can't wait as well. Listen, everyone, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. That's Larry Fowley. We'll see you next time. The Magic of Horror Film Festival. Take care.